Hello there, it's Abigail from Sprouted Dreams, and I wanted to show you some of the process that I'll be doing today in conditioning my cutting boards and my wooden spoons. And I think I have a knife over here as well. Okay, and anything that has kind of this wood, even in the pieces here of my strainer, you want to keep this conditioned because it just makes them last so much longer. This knife, you may be like, why is she taking care of this junker knife? Well, I believe this must be walnut because this knife, I believe, was my mother's when I was a little girl. Stainless, Japan, it says right there. So I have had this knife for many, many years. So you want to condition your wood, but what I wanted to show you was back in the day when I was a new bride and I was very into health and doing things naturally. I know, imagine. I wanted to use natural things on my cutting boards, and I used olive oil and flaxseed oil, which flaxseed is kind of the worst oil I could have ever done because flaxseed goes rancid, like, for your own personal use. I mean, it can go bad if you don't refrigerate it, if you have fresh cold pressed flaxseed oil. So what happened is those went rancid really fast and they smelled horrible. So I sanded them down again and they still stunk. And so I sanded them down more. And then I put them outside and let them get sort of a sun treatment for a while, resanded again, and finally I got the stink out. But then after that, I did a bit of research and found mineral oil. Mineral oil sounds just fine. Odorless, tasteless. It's to help you if you're stopped up, you know, a little constipated. You can eat it. You give it to children, you know, anything like that. And it says, oh, you might have some tocopherol, which is vitamin E. No problem. Mineral oil. Used it for decades. What it doesn't tell you anywhere on this label, this is petroleum. It's not mineral oil. It's super distilled down gasoline. It's petroleum. Don't eat this. And maybe the reason it makes you have a poo is because you're feeding your body poison. Maybe it's trying to get rid of it. Like, who thought of this? Actually, it started back in the late 1700s, and this is why, is because natural waxes do go rancid. So I had quite a time trying to find the right thing to use for my cutting boards. Now, on my hair forks, if you look in my shop at Sprouted Dreams, I do use a hard wax. But these cutting boards, the one underneath here, well, this one is huge. And I use large cutting boards because I like to prepare large meals. And so I would go through that little bottle. There's two small bottles and you mix them. I would go through that in just a few boards, and it's not cheap. So I was like, wow, what am I going to do with these? Well, you could do beeswax, and I have beeswax, but it's going to be, it's going to get cloudy and opaque and a little bit gummy. So this I bought, I did a lot of research. I am a little concerned because it did say on Amazon that it is beeswax and orange oil, and it has kind of an orangey smell, just barely. But you sand everything down first, and this is what it looks like. I did this side ahead so that you could kind of see. It has a nice little sheen, not super shiny or anything, but you let it dry and then you can buff it. So very similar to the hard wax I use, but this is not a hard wax. This is a soft wax. So let's go ahead and finish up this cutting board that I had started. And the reason why they started using mineral oil is because of what I just said, is the natural plant or animal oils go bad. And so prior to having, you know, commercially made, oh, look how nice that really came through here. This is very smooth. This is a really nice little cutting board. I love the colors in this one. And So back to the history, they wanted something that didn't go rancid. So prior to that, if you wanted to preserve something as well, meats or hams, you could preserve it in lard. And I'm sure that they used some of that lard as well for their cutting boards. And what you would have to do is just wash it down. They may have washed it with some lye. So see, now this is going to sit, and then you just polish it, and it'll look like this side when you're done the next day. Very nice. This came out really beautiful. So it still has a bit of, like, you can feel it on there, but then the next day it does seep in. It's really beautiful. So I'm hoping that this will be a nice treatment for my wood pieces. So back to the lard that's what people used prior to the mineral oil. And I definitely see why people would think, oh, this is great. You can treat them. Oh, look how beautiful that came out. And it doesn't stink, and you don't have to re-sand all the time. Yeah, but you're literally eating petroleum. Now, they say it's safe. How come in Europe they get to see the actual ingredients on there? Not here in the good old USA. I don't understand that. So, it would be really nice, Mr. Kennedy, if you got rid of some of that as well. I was really hopeful that he would do a lot for at least food clarity. Even if you can't kind of make the changes, at least let people see what they're eating. If they're eating things that have pesticides or petroleum or anything like that. Yeah, this definitely has a oily feel when you first put it on, but it really does do a nice job. And you can see that this is going to have a bit of a satin sheen, not a ton. Let's see how it does on this big one. Now, this one is in pretty bad shape. Let's go through the other spoon first. Okay, because this one is really dry. Really dry. This is not as high quality. I have a beautiful olive wood spoon that my daughter got me for Christmas. So I definitely want to use that with this treatment. This is very nice, yes. I like that. This is a really hard spoon. I have had this one a long time. I thought it was a lot worse shape than what it is, but give your wood pieces a quick sand. I used 400 grit sandpaper. Now on this cutting board, I went a bit smaller. I went to 200 because it's very beat up. We are tough on our cutting boards. We prepare all our food from scratch, and so we're using cutting boards like numerous times a day. Look at that. This is such a nice knife. It's got some little marks there. It looks like paint or something. Like I said, this knife has got to be at least 40 years old, and certainly could be a lot more. So I'm guessing this is walnut. Look at that. Very nice. Okay, and then my spoon. I make these because I love them. And I don't sell them because people goof on my spoons all the time, but I love them. And when you hold them in your hand, they're just such a beautiful feel. Oh, this looks beautiful. This one is made of oak, and I use this specifically for my kombucha. Such a nice spoon. I made a little hole there for it to hang, but then I gave up on that idea because I didn't want to lose this burl on the end. Yeah, that's just beautiful. Okay, should we try the tough board? Let me find my olive spoon. Don't know why I didn't have that over here. Okay, this should really be pretty when it gets this on. Very nice. This was a Christmas gift, and so I really want to keep it in good condition. Looks like it got... Oh, it's okay. So just rub it in, and then tomorrow you take a very fine cloth and polish it up. Yeah, that's really pretty. All right, let's see what this one does. This one is dry, and it needed extra sanding, and it probably needs more sanding. I have not treated this board very well. So be sure that you don't let yours get like this, because not only does it make your boards last longer, but I find that it also makes it a lot nicer to use them when they're beautiful like this. There's something about using a tool that has natural beauty that makes it more enjoyable. Now, I have used quite a bit of this wax, but there is quite a lot left. Feels really nice on your hands as well. Nice to do something that adds moisture. And you can see this gets wet here from where it sits. That probably needs more sanding there. But it gets discolored. There we are. I'll just do that again. So you can see, oh my goodness, this board is dry. So dry. Well, it was a good thing to do. And this seems to be doing a really nice conditioning job on the wood. So that's what I like to see, is I don't want to leave the wood exposed, because the deal is with the tomato seeds stick to everything. I sanded it. Okay. This will help to make like things like that, like stains and other foods, not stick so well, and it will actually help your knife to glide better. It just makes the whole process of using the cutting board a whole lot more beautiful and enjoyable. So just don't forget the next day to give it a quick polish with a really soft rag. There we go. That is not bad. I mean, this one is going to have to be done again. I'll just sand this down again in a couple of weeks and make sure I give it a second treatment, because this one is just, whoop, this one is not in the finest shape. And this one does not need done. I use this a little bit, but I honestly use this mostly for my videos. So this one doesn't really need to be done, because I keep this in super good shape all the time. And I do use a beeswax on this one, because it's more for looks and less for, here you can see where my hands were. See, it leaves a little glossy shine. You see there? Maybe if I go over here. See there? So it does give a bit of a sheen, but I'm assuming a lot of that is going to soak into the wood. So really, really nice. But check your ingredients. Look at what the information says about that product, and choose a beeswax with another oil. Like some of them had different butters, like shea butter or orange oil or lemon oil, but don't use the mineral oil if you can avoid it. Now, if you must use mineral oil, it's better than leaving your wood untreated. Let me see if I can find something. I don't know that I have something that I didn't already grab. I did this one again, yes. So let's see. Let me find something. Wood. All right. This is actually my little bone folder that I made. So you put it on your hands and just treat the wood like this. And this is, see the difference here? You can see from one side to the other. It does a nice job, but I wouldn't really want this on something that I'm going to put my food on, because even though this is food safe, you really don't want to eat that mineral oil. But if you want to use this for like this bone folder, wood pieces that are, you know, hanging on the wall or whatever, they totally can be used with the mineral oil, but understand that this is petroleum. So I hope that helps you, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you.